Let's go. The last episode of 2025. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. 2.5 years I've had this podcast. Time just flies. Okay, this episode is called My Year in Review. I love these episodes. What I'm taking in 2025 and not taking, what I'm leaving in 2025 and what I'm taking into 2026. Before we start, I wanted to invite you to make a decision, to decide to invest in yourself, to give yourself this gift in the new year, and join me in Organized Life Academy. That is where we focus on decluttering and organizing our home and our life. And I'm so excited. It's our 6th year. So if you're brand new here, it's our 6th year to do this program. I am loving it even more. And as I'm hashing out all the details and making decisions about what we're going to focus on and scheduling the expert guests and what I want them to teach the women in the program, I am just so excited. And I'm deciding what workshops I'm going to teach. I want to go deeper into the mindset. And the other thing that people are so excited about and joining just for this reason is the Life and Death Binder. And this year we are taking that month by month. We have one focus each month to complete the Life and Death Binder at the end of 2026. And if anything were to happen to you, or I look at it also, if anything was to happen to my spouse, each of us would have everything that we need to be able to find the bank accounts, to know what to do, to have our medical orders in there, to have our wills in a place where we know, to have all the passwords and copies of our credit cards and whatever else there is, to have all that in place. And I'm going to tell you everything you need based on some research I've done. And we will have it complete by the end of 2026. So if that sounds good to you, get in there. The best deal right now, deeply discounted price on Organized Life Academy is at simplysquaredaway.com/yes. I will see you inside to start the new year. Okay, on to this week's episode. Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. Welcome back to the Organized Coach Podcast. Today's episode is a little different. And as I was prepping for this episode, I think it's kind of interesting learning this, but I had some questions I wanted to answer as I looked at my year and reviewed it. So I used ChatGPT and I said, okay, here's what I want to do. Help me outline the episode and walk through. And so he started talking to me, and I say he because I use the voice thing and it's a male's voice. And I was talking to him and I said, no. Ask me one question at a time. And I am a slow talker and I pause and I'm thinking and he's always interrupting me. And I'm like, no, do not interrupt me. Let me think about it and wait till I say done at the end. And then I have been sitting a lot. I am sitting all the time. I haven't been exercising, and that's something I'm reviewing like I normally have been. I've really been pretty consistent until this last month, and I've just been sitting all the time. And so I was laying on the floor in my bedroom. It was late in the evening, and laying down there on my back with my computer next to me, and Chat is asking me these questions and I'm telling him, wait, I'm not done, and interrupting him. And then my daughter comes in my room and there I am laying on the floor, and I think I just had a hot flash. And so I had taken my sweater off. I just had a tank top on and my pajama bottoms, and I was laying there. It was just hilarious. I laughed so hard. Do you guys laugh so hard where you are just like having convulsions, but anyway, we are always taking pictures of ourselves. Well, I'm not. I guess the girls are always taking pictures of us in just the goofiest positions and then sending them in our family chat. So that's where I was. That's what was happening. Now you know how, what's the right word? Non-traditionally, I plan these things out, laying on my floor in my bedroom with my computer. So as I looked at my year in review, this episode will be more kind of reflective and just an honest look at what actually happened this year and what I'm consciously wanting to leave behind and what I'm choosing to take with me into 2026. So as you listen, I want you to use this episode to reflect on your year. And I'll pause throughout, maybe ask some questions so you can think about how it applies to your life and your home, and if you have a business, in your business, or wherever you're at right now. Okay, first question. How would you describe 2025? So as I thought about that, I just wanted to do the first thing that came to my mind. And the first thing that came to my mind was a lot. I had big goals. I took a lot of action. I felt like there was a ton of admin work. And I can see why as I'm looking through my calendar and my time and what I was actually doing, my priorities. I had a lot of thinking, a lot of movement, a lot of travel, a lot of fun, a lot of really, really good things. And as I look back, that's what I'm noticing. So my word to describe 2025 was a lot. And a lot of it was in my head. So even though I did a lot, I also spent a lot of time believing there was still so much left to do. Like I couldn't catch my breath, especially the last few months. I've just felt like I can't catch my breath. I can't get ahead. I'm going to be better after this happens. I'm going to get it all together. I'm going to be able to I don't know what the right word is, calm down, be able to feel like I have space. Maybe that's it. Feel like I have space after this, once I do this. So I really am noticing that it's a mindset that I'm operating from. And that belief of there's so much can feel really true. But it doesn't mean that it's true. I can compare to someone else. And I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready. I was like, imagine if I had little kids doing this. How are people with little kids doing what I'm doing? Because I have a lot of freedom. But that's what my word was. That's how I have felt, especially the last few months. So if you had to describe your year in one word or phrase, what would it be? And this is good. Is this word describing facts or is it the story you've been telling yourself? So good. Okay, I want to look at wins from 2025. Things that I am so proud of and so grateful for. So before I talk about what I'm leaving behind, I just want to honor the wins because this year has had many wins. Visibility and business wins. At the beginning of the year, I set a clear goal to get more visible. That was my goal. In that first few weeks of the year, I think this is how it started out. I hired an assistant to help me pitch podcasts. And so her job was to just research shows and then write the pitch. And then I went in, looked at the show, made sure it was what I wanted, and then edited the pitch. And then she sent out the follow-ups. This is what was keeping me stuck in 2024. I didn't want to do it, or I wasn't doing it. That part seemed overwhelming. So I hired someone to help me do that. And that was the best thing I could have done. And because of that, I booked myself on about 70 shows this last year. If I think about that, that is more than one a week. That was kind of my goal, is to do one visible activity per week and 70 podcasts. And they're not all published yet, but they're all booked. And most of them have interviewed. I have a couple that I've scheduled in January. In addition to that, I have also been asked or invited to speak in their groups. Some of them have masterminds or memberships, and I've been invited to speak in their groups. And I've made connections with so many people. So it's just been the most amazing thing. And in January, I can remember the moment when I was trying to figure out, what am I doing? How do I set this up? What do I do? Who do I hire? How do I make this work? And we got it set up, by the end of January. It might have been a little before the end. And it's just been such a dream. Organizing that process has been key, keeping it organized. So I created a digital product called the Podcast Dashboard Bundle. And that bundle I have been able to sell then to help other people do this process and to keep it all organized, because it is a lot. Let me tell you, if you don't have an organization system around this, it is very challenging because you are sending out replies. If you don't send, not replies, but reminders or follow-ups, you're not going to get booked on as many. So it's sending those follow-ups and having that consistent. And then also, once someone says yes, filling out their form, scheduling the thing, putting it on your calendar, following up with when they publish it, making sure you promote it, posting it on social, like just there's so much involved in it that you need a system to keep it organized. So if you're interested in that, you can find that simplysquaredaway.com/pod, I think, but I'm going to pause this and check on that. Yes, simplysquaredaway.com/pod. Okay, so that has been very, very exciting to have that in place. And I look at next year, that's part of all the admin that I was doing. I was the one filling out the forms and scheduling and following up and emailing and personalizing the pitches. That's really important that I wanted to do that, and I wanted to know who I was pitching to. So anyway, it's been good. I have gotten clients from that. I've had people find me on other people's podcasts and become listeners. So it's been really, really good. Revenue-wise, I matched and slightly exceeded last year's. It wasn't as much growth as I had hoped for, but staying steady and growing a bit still matters. And I want to say that out loud. I've been in business 17 years and never really pushed to grow my business. And the last few years, I'd say I've tried, and I'm just a slow and steady person. I haven't made giant leaps and doubling things. I've just been slow and steady. And so I am proud of that. Another huge win is that I have in place my signature programs, and they still sell today. Just yesterday, Organized Coach Academy, I got an email saying that someone purchased it, and I'm just so grateful that I have that in place and people can get organized. I have an organic funnel in place, which means that it's just set up. I'm not running ads to it. It's just if someone hears about it, they can go through that funnel and learn more about it. And a funnel is just, they download a free gift and then they get some emails that follow up, teaching them some skills and then offering them the program. So I have Organized Coach Academy and I have Organized Life Academy, and building those funnels takes a lot of work. It's taken a lot of work, and each year it seems like I'm doing something, redoing something, setting it up, changing it, and it's challenging. I think I have to enjoy that process more. That's my goal going forward, is to just enjoy the process of getting and making a funnel better and tweaking emails and looking at results and continuing in the same thing until it speaks to what clients need and what they're looking for. My Black Friday campaign this year matched what I made last year. The best part of it is just getting to work with amazing new people. It's bringing new people into my world. They find out about me, I think through my podcast, probably the most, and then they sign up for the wait list, or they see a product that helps them solve a problem and they purchase that product. And that has been so fun, meeting new people and then getting to work with people that have been in my world for a long time. So questions for you to ask yourself. What wins are you brushing past too quickly? And this is me. My friend said, wait, are you going to stop and celebrate when I would accomplish something? And I was like, oh yeah. That's what I need to do. I need to pause and celebrate, because I look back and I think this was my goal. I am living in where I had dreamed that I would be, where I would get to. And I'm living there. And it's so cool. And I need to make sure, and you need to make sure, that you're not brushing past those wins and the place that you're at right now. And what would change if you actually paused and honored them? Feels good. My shoulders just dropped, and it makes it fun. Makes me so grateful, and it makes me pause and just look at, what do I really want to do? So personal wins and life highlights, it has been a super, super big year. We've had our tough times in our family, but this year I think is just filled with goodness. Chad and I, my husband and I, celebrated 30 years of marriage, and we took an amazing trip together. Kind of our first long trip all by ourselves for 7 days. It was so good. I also traveled a lot this year with friends and family. One of my favorite trips was spending 6 days in New York with my youngest daughter and literally seeing everything we could possibly fit in 6 days. I also hosted my second annual live event in Kansas City, and it was so, so special. We had to change the original date because another event came up, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I was so determined to find a date that worked for every single person who had registered, and we did. And then we went deep and coached slowly. I don't know that I do this enough in my programs, but we really coached in person slowly and deeply, and the women had some really special transformations that they took away from that event. The reason we had to switch the dates was because something really eventful happened. So I had put on my vision board a picture of Corinne Crabtree. Now, some of you have no idea who she is, and other of you know her very well. But I had put a picture of her on my vision board, intending for it to be part of my visibility plan that I was going to pitch, and I wanted to pitch to her to be on her podcast. That was the goal. That was what I was putting her picture on my vision board for. And in January, in her program, she held a contest. And I told you already that I was so busy in January setting this visibility plan up that I wasn't that great at doing the contest, but I still submitted a video. I still followed through, even though I didn't do it perfectly, and was invited to come to a live event at her home. And I thought to myself, wow, I am not only pitching to her, but I am getting to be at her home for a live event. And it was so special. And that's the thing that I had to switch my dates for, because the dates switched and it all worked out perfectly. And I really remember in that moment thinking, this is terrible. I'm not going to be able to do it. And then I kept asking myself, what if I can? What if I can make this work? I want you to ask yourself that when something right now that you feel is impossible, you feel like you can't make it work out or it's not going to work out. I want you to just keep asking yourself, what if I can? And I remember offering the ladies at my live event, well, can this day work? And then someone would have a problem with it. And then I'd be like, wait, can this day work? And I'm like, they are going to get so sick of me, but we made it work. The other thing, my kids had huge milestones. Every single one of them had something amazing happening. My youngest daughter graduated from nursing school, and she is a full-time RN. She is living her dream. This is what she is gifted to do. She is so good. My other daughter, my next youngest child, graduated with her doctorate in occupational therapy. And she is made to do that. It is so special seeing the two of them live their dream. We just celebrated Bridget getting her doctorate this last weekend from when I'm recording this. My third youngest or second oldest. Okay, I have two. Oh my gosh. Sometimes when I'm recording, I just want to quit the whole thing, delete it, and start over because I feel like I've made so many goof ups and I could do it so much better, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep going. So I have two boys and then I have two girls. So my second oldest and his wife moved to Florida a year ago, and they have found a church. They've both accepted Christ as their Savior, and they both got baptized. My husband and I flew down for that event, and it was so special. They shared their testimonies, and it was the most beautiful thing. And my oldest son and his wife live here, and they are joining our church. I'm so grateful. They're wanting to join our church, and my oldest son got baptized as well the next weekend, and he shared his testimony. I mean, I just feel so honored and so grateful. His wife has already been baptized, so she didn't need to get baptized, and they're joining our church and getting involved, and they're serving in the little people, serving with one of the little classes for maybe kindergartners or something. And it's just the sweetest thing. My kids are doing really good. And as a mother, any moms and dads out there know what a blessing that is. So I am in a really great place. So think about your life. What personal moments mattered most this year that had nothing to do with productivity? That is so good. Nothing to do with productivity. What have you organized this year? And don't tell me it wasn't enough, because we all, I think the same thing. I didn't get enough done. No. What trips did you go on? What relationships did you nurture? What things did you declutter? What has happened good in your life? Maybe that's you're caring for your adult parent. I've been hearing that a lot. You're a caregiver, and that is draining, and yet you're choosing to give in that way, and it's the most beautiful thing. So what is it for you? Make sure you write those down. And then let me tell you about that vision board moment that I never expected. I, first of all, have never made a vision board, but last year I made one. I think it was at the end actually of 2024. So it was kind of in the fall, but I put Corinne's picture on there, not in a weird way, but I just wanted to remind myself to pitch to her, and podcast pitching was my visibility strategy this year. So I put her picture on there, and all the progression of me joining her program, I entered in a contest, had to submit a video. I got to go to her live event in April, and then was invited into her mastermind, submitted an application, and was one of 11 in her very first mastermind, which included 2 in-person events. I've become friends with new people that are so special. She invited me to speak inside her membership, and I'm booked to be on her podcast in 2026. And I think back about that. All I did was post a picture, and it opened up into this. And so I want you to think about, like, what could you do that you don't know what it's going to lead to? This is one thing as I go into 2026, I want my goals to be more like questions. I want them to be open and able to unfold in front of me as I walk toward them. That's what I'm excited about. To go back to that, she and her husband, Corinne and her husband, Chris, are some of the most genuine people I've ever met. And it was actually Chris. He's more the numbers guy. She's the coach. And he asked a question that shifted my identity. And I know I've talked about this previously on the podcast, but that experience reminded me that sometimes we think we're aiming for open doors. And it's been so impactful. And just being with them and the people that are in that mastermind have been really, really special. A safe place, encouraging, but challenging, telling me like it is. And so it's been really good for me. Also, I need to make a new vision board. So my question for you, what have you been quietly hoping for that might be unfolding in a different way than you expected? Okay, one favorite client story that came from the podcast, someone searched for something like organized office in AI and found my podcast through an AI search. And then he binge listened to episodes on a 14-hour road trip and then reached out to me. We've met with his business, and I sent in a proposal. We're not sure what the outcome of that will be. And he bought the Business Organizing Intensive and has already literally implemented everything. We had our first call recently. His organization literally blew my mind, and he kept saying, I've been implementing it from the podcast. And I think that is the kind of impact that makes everything worth it, right? So good. What are you underestimating the ripple effect of what you're already doing? That is such a good question. What are you already doing and you're just underestimating the ripple effect of it? Okay, the hardest moment of the year. Now let's talk about that part. I think I've said it recently, but the one point this year I quit. Not publicly necessarily, but internally I was done. I felt pressured by that goal I had set. I was vulnerable. I had failed. It was at one of those in-person events. I just hate being embarrassed. I want to quit things I'm not good at. That was my identity. I still had so much work left to do. I just wanted to quit everything. I looked for jobs. I thought about it really seriously. And it was a week or 2 or 3 of just processing that pressure that I was putting on myself, the shame, the disappointment. I think a lot of exhaustion, mental exhaustion, maybe from the pressure, but maybe physical exhaustion too. I had an impingement in my shoulder that was causing pain, and just, I don't know. What changed everything in that moment, though, was my willingness not to hide. I asked for help. I leaned into the mastermind that I was in. I looked a mess. I cried in front of everyone. I didn't know what I was going to talk about perfectly. I reached out to friends. I just stayed in it. And someone later said something that stuck with me. You don't make a breakthrough unless there's something to break through. I was past it then, and I looked back and I was like, that's my breakthrough moment. And it really changed my identity. It changed how I thought about myself. So if you're in the middle of that, stay there, lean in, ask for help, be open, be vulnerable. So I'm no longer someone who quits things I'm not good at. I'm someone who likes doing things I'm not good at and getting better and just being there, not having to strive to be the most put together. So what's your hardest moment this year? What did it change about you? What I'm leaving in 2025, the identity of quitting when things feel hard. Okay, I talked about that. A cluttered feeling in my business that tells me I need all the strategies. Ugh. Yes, I've just felt cluttered. I felt like I'm doing a lot, trying too many approaches at once. What I'm leaving behind is my sister. She's quitting. She's not going to be doing my graphics and scheduling posts and publishing my blog post. She is moving on. She's had a full-time job for probably 3 years and has done this on the side in addition to some other social media and graphic things. And she's letting go of all of those. And I'm so sad. I'm like, what am I going to do? So when I'm in Florida, by the time you listen to this, I will be back already. So it'll be interesting to see what I decided, but I'm kind of deciding what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. So what are you ready to stop carrying simply because you always have? Do I want to do social media just because I have? So good. Okay, here's what I'm bringing forward. Travel. I traveled a lot this year. Well, I mean, what's a lot, compared to who or what? I traveled this year and I love it. I love traveling with people and just hanging out. I think that's the best part. So I have the beginning of the new year, I have 6 trips planned already. And it just kind of turned into that. It's not necessarily what I planned, but I am excited about every single one of them. So travel, time with friends and family. I'm focusing deeply on Organized Life Academy this year. I am going to make it so good. I mean, it's already good. I believe it's good, but I'm going to make it so good. So if you are on the fence, get in there and join me. I'm putting lots of effort into Organized Life Academy to help women, it's for women, transform their identity, to declutter and organize, downsize their homes, mostly 50-year-olds and up. So join us in there at simplysquaredaway.com/yes. And then reaching and impacting more people. That's my goal. I want to make a difference. I was thinking about, what is it costing me to not pursue my goals? Even if I used an income goal as my measure, that represents the people that I'm impacting. That is my goal, to impact people. By me pursuing even a revenue goal, I also have a number goal of people that I want to impact. And so that's why I don't want people to be stuck in clutter, to feel shame and regret about how much stuff they have around them. And I know 100% that I can help them. I also want to launch Organized Coach Academy a couple times. And I thought about this as I was doing this episode, that I want to include the business organizing intensive, because that's like one of my favorite things to do. So I'm going to launch that a couple times, and that might be one of the bonuses. I haven't decided for sure. And then I want to journal more. I, this year, really want to have CEO meetings with God. I want to surrender my business to Him. I want to be led by Him as He knows exactly whose path I should cross and who I should be connected with and who needs me as far as decluttering and organizing their life, home, or business. And it's just really sweet. I want that more. I want to surrender outcomes instead of pressuring myself with goals. And one idea, I might have mentioned this earlier, but I'm experimenting this next year, is setting goals as questions instead of demands. And it's so contrary to what you learn. An example of this is instead of, I will create consistent, include whatever the dollar amount is, months in my business by a certain date. This is how it's looking instead. And I'm just experimenting with this. So I don't have a result, but it feels so good. Instead, my goal is how easily can I create a consistent monthly income with God as my CEO. And it just like opens up that path again and seems exciting and it seems inviting versus, in my mind, pressure filled. So you might want to play with that. How would it look to move into your new year with curiosity instead of pressure? And I think about that with organization. How easily can I create a clutter-free home in 2026? And as you ask yourself, would that include joining Organized Life Academy? How easily can I create an organized business? And would that include one-on-one coaching with me or joining Organized Coach Academy? What could that look like? And how beautiful and easily could you put in systems to help your business flow smoother? Just so, I don't know. Do you guys feel like that? Do you feel like that? If there was one thing I want you to take from this episode, it's this. You don't have to take everything with you into next year. You get to choose. Organization isn't about doing more. It's about intentionally choosing, saying no to things, letting go with things. And right now, when I look at my business, I think it's cluttered. It has a lot of stuff. And again, when you listen to this, I'll already be back from Florida, but I am planning a trip and going to just sit with this and declutter. Declutter my mind, declutter what I think about it, declutter my business, declutter my activities, the things I'm involved in. It just is so exciting. How can decluttering feel exciting to you? I think people think it seems like it's going to be a lot of work. It seems like it's going to be hard because they don't want to make those decisions. But how could it be really easy, special, sweet, and of course, beneficial? So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, for reflecting with me. And if you want to, take a few minutes after this episode and write down, what are you leaving? What are you taking? And who are you becoming in 2026? I will see you next week, and Happy New Year. Wait, if you're finding this podcast useful, you must check out the Organized Coach Academy. It's my course where I walk you through every step to get your business organized, to get yourself organized, to save money and time, to prepare to hire someone, to do all the things that you want to do in your business with ease. Check that out at simplysquaredaway.com/OCA. Also, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I would love it. It's my way of knowing that you're enjoying the podcast if you leave a written review. I have lots of freebies for you. They're linked in the show notes. You can find them in my bio on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And until next week, have a beautiful day.